Okay, guys, we are live with a little bit of a joke here. I think this is kind of fun. So the hotel was telling them they couldn't park in one of the spots. We said, "Hey, you can park there at the edge of the EV parking." So of course, Joey's got the truck hooked up here to the EV charger. Got to get the S10 ready for tomorrow for day one of Southeast Street and Eat Fall 2023. We were talking a little bit, and we'll grab James here in a minute to talk about the setup in this truck. But it's a twin turbo LT, and they went fast today. So let me kind of fun. We got Scott Brown's car here. Obviously, Scott's not down here yet. He was right here. Windshield banners. Come on. Scott's here pulling a. Is this trailer new to him?
It's my trailer.
Oh, it's your trailer. So yeah. James is here gonna walk us through some of the cars. Obviously, you want to talk about the S10? You were telling me a little bit about that earlier.
Yeah, so it was a new 6.2 LT block and stock crank, and then the rods and pistons were like a Texas Speed drop-in deal. They're already set up to be balanced with the crank.
Oh, nice, cool.
So drop in, and then BTR cam, the BTR port injected intake, and then VS 6973s.
That's awesome. And then you guys ran 6.0 today? No, what'd you run today?
Yeah, I think you went like a 6.0 something at 117 on like 5 or 6 pounds.
Yeah, this thing is crazy.
It's nowhere close. It has the fuel, the all the things to run like 35 or 40 pounds. So it's nowhere close. I mean, obviously,
so it went 6.0. Yeah, it went 6.0 in the 8th on 7 or 8 pounds. You said, right? 6 pounds. 6 pounds.
Yeah,
and
5 or 6. I think it's been 120 in the 8th on 8 pounds.
Jeez.
And since I'm not the one driving it, and Joey just is kind of easing himself into it, we haven't leaned on it yet at all. But it did make over 1,000 wheel on 10 pounds, and we were blowing through the converter that was in it. So it's pretty bad.
They made more than 1,000 horsepower on 10 pounds in this thing. Turbo 400 trans. This truck can be really, really fast.
Yeah, it's definitely not just a 490s, but down in the fours.
Wow.
Truck, and it made 720 wheel on 3 pounds, I think. It's super rowdy.
That's fun. Well, that ought to be a good time to watch his kind of his growth this weekend or week, because this is one of the fastest cars he's ever owned, right?
Maybe a large margin.
Probably, yeah.
Before he left, he said if he could run a 5-second, 599 or whatever pass every day and not have to really work on it, he'd be super happy. And I mean,
to come out here and run a 6.0 on the first couple passes, that's a good deal.
I think on the last day, if he's done and we've made the trip and everything's cool, I might hop in it, turn it up to like 28 pounds, and try to knock a 4-second pass.
Yes, that's awesome. Well,
this will go if it's healthy and
yeah, oh yeah, yeah. So, street miles. You guys have any street miles on this thing?
It's got
13.
About
13
street. I know it's got less than 50 street miles on it.
Wow, I mean, that's cool.
Around town and stuff like that, and make sure it wouldn't get hot and that kind of stuff. But it's so far pretty friendly. I mean, we drove from the track to here, popped the cap on the fuel cell, and you can't even tell it used any fuel. So.
And that's 20 miles. And I mean, like, at what we're driving at for this kind of stuff, especially coming to here, you're not in boost, you're not leaning on anything, you're not, you guys don't have a trailer you were pulling or anything like that, so it should be pretty easy. Yeah, that's cool.
I'm hoping, it's his first drag and drop, so I'm hoping we're good on it. We started putting it together last October. It's November, this a year and a month later, and we're super happy with it. I mean, it actually impressed all of us. It made way more power than we thought it would. You take a basic LS motor and run 3 pounds on it, and you might make 400 or 500.
Yeah. So yeah, definitely not 700 on 3
It's super
pounds.
cool. You know, it's a little different. Not everybody's getting into the LT stuff because it's a little harder to screw with, but it's really not. When you get into it, you'll realize that you've got a trick flow 255 equivalent LS cylinder head on a 5.3 truck. Just right there.
Yeah, and then you guys did you did one of the intakes that has the injectors here in the runner, like a regular LS style setup would be.
That's a Brian Tooley, port injected LT intake. You can just get on Brian Tooley's website and buy it, bolt it right on there, and then you probably can't see it, but they make a block off for the direct injected stuff.
Oh, nice.
So there's it's like a dummy injector, and then a rail that bolts down just to block it off. That's all you got to do, and then it thinks it's an LS. This is an LS harness. It's a Holley LS harness.
Cool. I got you. So so then it's just looking for a crank trigger and
it's a 58X Holley harness. It has no idea that it's not
not running an LS. That's awesome.
So it's super fun, and it's these are truck shorties for like a LT truck, and I just welded V-bands on them, and then it's got 65,000 pie cuts that you can't see in the dark.
Yeah,
I'll actually turn my phone on with the light if you want to look. It's an S10. You have to cram it in. So,
oh yeah. Holy jeez, man. Yeah, we'll get some good shots of this for everybody at home tomorrow when there's light. But yeah, what kind of time do you have in pie cuts, you think? A week? You got a week worth of hours in pie cuts on this thing?
I think we did time it, and so this downpipe is pie cuts on this bend, and there's pie cuts to go out the fender right there, and this to make these pie, because I made these pie cuts. I didn't buy like the vibrant ones.
Yeah.
So to make these pie cuts and weld this together where it needs to go takes an hour.
Wow.
So there's 1 hour in this bend.
That's crazy.
And then there's an hour in that bend, and then it was so loud that he was worried about it. So we got these vibrant mufflers, and I put those in right before he left, and just kind of put a bracket on it.
Yep.
And it actually toned it down a little bit, and it's tolerable. But
yeah,
there's not a I'm really not a pie cut kind of guy, but there's not much you can do to package something.
I was gonna say you couldn't really fit a mandrel bend there. It probably wouldn't have worked, and especially on some of this, like what you guys are seeing here, like this to make that loop.
This is a very hard turn. Right
yeah, I mean the camera's not there. That's kind of a better shot, but I mean look at that 180 in what is this much distance. So
yeah, we cramped in there, and then the radiators dropped down about 3 inches or 3.5 inches from stock. It's actually dropped down. Try to get all this in here,
Yeah.
Another cool thing about the LT stuff, so the water pump and the accessory drive, there's not a whole lot out there to mess with it. That's why people won't do it. This is a Jegs LS water pump. And then I think these are Dirty Dingo adapters, so it turns the LT pattern into the LS pattern.
Nice.
To bolt that water pump on. And this is just like 10 ICT billet brackets I welded and made to get an alternator on it, because S10s just don't have any room,
No, especially when you put 2 turbos in there. That's why a lot of folks go big single on a S10.
There's actually more room with twins than there was with a single, because I built it with a single at first. We had one single over here, but with the crossover and everything, and the steering box and everything else, it was really tight.
Yeah.
It kind of opened it up when we did this, but
wow.
He said, I want everything to be a pie cut. So there's I think there's one bend right here that's a mandrel, and there's one bend right on that turbo that's a mandrel, and every single other bend is a pie cut. I mean, look down here if you can see it. Coming out of the intercooler and into this turbo, it's all pie cuts.
Yeah.
There's nothing but pie cuts.
Dang.
And like I said, I'm not a pie cut kind of guy. I kind of think it's ridiculous, but it's what you have to do.
Yeah. Well, you got to make those sites. So let's talk about some of the other stuff you got here too. So,
yeah,
if you guys don't know, James brings a whole crew when he comes anywhere. So Scott Brown's been with you all week, hanging out at the house, and
Scott, he's like grandpa, so he's been going and taking the kids to school with me for 3 or 4 days. Like
nice.
Literally, he's been at my house.
How cool!
He drove all the way, out from outside of Austin, where he lives in Austin, Texas, to Nashville, nonstop, and then crashed to my house. And I think he was there for 3 or 4 days before he left. And
wow,
helped me get ready and helped me do dad stuff and all that. And I've worn him out, so that's why he's inside tired.
Actually, he's in bed. He sent a message to Steve.
Oh, he's
his number, and he's done.
Okay.
That's funny.
He's for sure in bed. We like to make fun of him for being the old man. That's not really fair because Scott's one of the coolest older guys I've ever met in my life. He knows every rap song that I've ever heard. I mean, automatically, yes. He just plays it himself. He already knows it.
Well, talk about the Blazer, because folks on here may not know, but I had a square body Blazer in high school, and so these are like a soft spot in my heart here. So what's the setup here? You said this is going, this car and the S10 are both doing DYO this week?
No, even Scott, we're all doing DYO.
Nice. Okay, so that's a dial your own for everybody that's listening at home. You're trying to be the most consistent racer of the event, essentially.
I don't want to say it's easier because it's not, but
no, it's not easier.
It's a different kind of stress, but it's a little easier on you to not worry about being the fastest guy.
Yep.
It's not quite bracket racing, but
right. Well, what's the setup on this, and what's the history on it?
Well, my buddy Keith that's with us that doesn't want to be on camera right here probably.
He called in sick to work this week.
That guy right there, with the work pants on, just straight from work.
I didn't spin it. You're good.
Originally, he built this for one of his friends, an older man, and then this man's goal was to go 6 seconds in the 8th mile. And that was like his bucket list thing.
Cool.
So they just they got it in. It looked a little different and stuff, but like it still got the drivetrain that they built. It's a 406 small block, naturally aspirated. It's like 13-to-1. It's got an E85 carburetor, a power glide, and they threw all that together and put an 8.8 behind it, and that it wasn't narrowed yet or anything, and he made his pass and he was happy with it. It sat around in Keith's shop and always lusted over it, and somehow ended up with it now. But not after we made hundreds of passes with it. And
what do they call this color?
It's actually so. It's funny. Like 10 minutes ago, I asked Keith. I said, I really liked the Synergy green on like I think it was 2010 or 11 Camaro Synergy green. And he goes, "Oh yeah, that's what it is. It's Synergy green."
Dude, that's awesome.
Like I just figured it out. I was like, it looked just like it. So,
yeah. How cool.
So, but it's it's really nothing special out here in the fast car land, but we love it. And like you said, in high school, man, this was like the shit,
Yeah.
Even my wife said, "Oh, I used to ride to school in a 2-door S10 Blazer, and had a loud stereo in it."
Yep.
That's what it has. It has that.
I've threatened to build another one just because I'm like, man, it was so much fun. I've been out of school 25 years now almost, and kind of getting some of that reminiscing.
We're old enough to,
yeah.
Like,
back in the good days,
we had a square body Blazer,
Oh yeah. The thing is, they work so well because of all the glass, and it's heavy enough, and that truck probably didn't make enough power to spin the tires anyways. But mine didn't. No, it had a V8 in it. Yeah.
Oh, it had a V8.
Yeah. Okay. So we had done that. It was a lot of fun. I'd blown the shocks out. It would you could really just nail it twice, and it would do the hop, and it would lift this much, on the tire. And it was we had a blast in that truck. So I probably need to do another one of those at some point. Maybe make that my
one. They're actually. I didn't realize how hard it was to find one.
Yeah. Because nobody cared about them, man.
Not really. I mean, one of my buddies, he had an orange one that a lot of people have probably seen that watch No Prep or anything. Barry Cook originally built it.
Oh yeah.
And then Joe got it, and he just crashed it. Had an unfortunate accident, rolled it over.
Dang,
No Prep
that's
race,
sad.
tore it all to pieces.
Yep.
And he really wanted to get this thing, and I really couldn't just let it go. But
Yeah.
we've been trying to find him another one to put together, and you can't find
Yeah.
one. But when we were in high school, $500 got you whichever one you wanted.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah, it's hard. So I live in Northwest Arkansas, and I'm sure it's the same for you guys. The two-door, two-wheel drive is what the hard part is. We can find four-wheel drives pretty regular, but a lot of them are just absolutely wore out. So
pretty much. I mean, they're all wore. I mean, think about how old it is now.
I know. Don't tell anybody.
I actually went and bought a four-wheel drive, one of these two-door, four-wheel drive, just to get the interior pieces out of for this.
Wow. Yep.
About 3 weeks ago, and I didn't get done, but I did get. It had a perfect interior in it.
That's awesome.
And now the body in it and everything's in great shape. The one I bought, and I'm like, what am I gonna do with it? Like, it's too nice to just throw away. So maybe this winter we'll go four-wheeling with it or something. I don't know, but
that's cool. And you were saying this truck has subs in the back and all that kind of stuff?
Oh yeah, the hatch is open. I can probably, you might be able to see there's stuff back there. Oh, there's a cooler there.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you can see the sub there in the back. Nice big box.
It's got 2.8.
Streetcar stuff, man.
Oh, straight up. You can see that I put the plastic trim back on this side. Had to cut some up for the cage, but I didn't get to put this in yet. But I have all the stuff to put: the door panels, the headliner, the carpet. It's got carpet in the front, brand new carpet in the front. But I'm trying to make it back to OG status.
Yeah, that's cool. And then is that kind of what you're going to run this week? Is 6.0s in this thing? Are you going to race this week?
I wish it would run 6.0s.
What you said? Did it run 650s earlier?
It will run 650s. I'm not really sure what's going on. If it's the air, a lot of us are actually like the S10, Scott. We're all slow for some reason compared to what we normally do.
Huh.
But I did run like 2 7 flats, like a 702 and a 704 today, like just round robin.
Nice.
And that's the DYO thing, trying to run
head
on.
Yeah.
Which is, I'm like bored out of my mind slow, but it's really not that slow.
Right. But you're used to. I mean, what's the big car run?
Honky Tonk.
Yeah.
It's run anywhere from 550s to 750s over the years.
Yeah.
It's not super boring, but I actually spent most of the day trying to make this thing do huge wheelies. It used to drag the bumper, stand straight up. And I've worked on the suspension, and it had a 456 gear, and I put a 410 gear, and I narrowed the rear end a bunch to get those wheels under it.
Yeah.
And I loosened the shocks all the way up, put the leave at 4,700 feet on it as hard as I mean, that speaker box weighs probably 80 pounds in the trunk. And it pulls the wheels about that far, and that's all it would do now. And I'm kind of disappointed. If it's not going to go super fast, it needs to be crazy. But
yeah, well,
it's a ball of fun. I hope I don't have to work on it a whole lot.
Yeah.
But that's actually, even if it's 7.0s at 100 miles an hour, that's pretty respectable for a naturally aspirated small block Chevy.
Yeah.
Old school stuff. It's got a carburetor with the E85. It's got a power glide. I mean, it's not, anybody could just about put that together.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's a lot of people that have it. There's a lot of dig the shit out of the color, and the stance is right. What size tire on the back?
275.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Or 28 10.5.
Yeah.
Either one. That's a 4.5 inch back spacing 15 by 10, and that's as most wheel and tires you can put under the stock leaf spring. But with the Caltrac monos, the tire almost touches the leaf spring.
Wow.
I narrowed an 8.8 as far as you could go with that
and still have the the space. It looks great. I mean, that tire just sits perfect. Yeah.
We really worked hard on trying to, make it look how you think it should.
Yeah.
I can't get the front down anymore to like change the control arms in the front because the fender well headers are basically just about getting the control arms.
Yeah. Wow.
If you can find one of these things, you can make the same thing and have a ball. I mean,
yeah.
There's nothing super fast about it, but I'm already having fun.
Oh yeah.
And fun fact, these wheels and tires, these exact wheels and tires were on my Boost of Burden Mustang. If anybody remembers that, I mean, these are the wheels.
The wheels. That's cool.
So it's got an 8/8, so the pattern's right.
Yeah.
And now we've got an adapter on the front to put those on there, which actually pulls the wheel out. Because if you just put a front runner on these trucks, they kind of
stick way in.
So
yeah,
it worked out good.
Yeah.
Used the old school tricks, put some new lights in the front, and having a ball.
Yeah, that's one thing I like about like guys like you. Like, you've got a little bit of parts stashed laid around. You end up with a cool car. You're like, oh, here, we can finagle some of these things around, and then you end up with another cool car out of the mix.
It was already super cool, and then like a couple of $100 worth of cosmetics made it even better. I had my buddy tint the windows, and anything looks good with wheels and tint.
I'm telling you, it changes
back
it up.
Back in the day, it did, right?
Yeah. Hey, well, that's all we could get back in the day. I didn't know anything about lowering trucks back when I had mine.
My old man would let me do stereo stuff.
Yeah.
I was a drag racer back then, and he knew that if he let me, hot rod my daily driver, it'd be torn up, and
I'd break it. We'd find the limit.
Washing dishes at the Permanent House Smorgasbord wasn't going to pay for fixing the car. So.
Yeah, I worked at Billy Bob's Barbecue, and then I was a cart pusher at Kroger Foods, man.
Yeah, my wife should be glad that I can wash the dishes at home after doing that. I'm never washing dishes.
She should be proud of you. That's awesome. Was there any other cars in the parking lot? Are we the only race car friends here?
This is kind of last minute, so we got this hotel. I mean, it might, unfortunately.
I think we probably are. Well,
so one of the slowest cars here, mine. It's all we got, I guess.
Well, it's faster than 92% of the parking lot for sure.
Yep. I would say the fastest thing here is the red truck.
Yeah.
Capone is right behind it, but Scott 10 obviously is a lot like it.
Yeah.
I did roll across the scales on the Blazer today, and it was very blurry with the sunlight, but it weighs over 3,300 with me in it, race weight.
Yeah, street car, man.
So I'm pretty impressed, really.
Yeah, I mean, 3,300 pounds. That's pretty cool. That's still in today's terms, that's relatively lightweight. And I mean, there's 800 pounds of glass in that thing.
Oh yeah, I mean my. Boost of Burden, my parts buddy, the turbo LS deal, it weighed 3,350 for a long time.
Yeah.
Before I took any weight out of it, and so it's not super heavy, but it's not super light either.
Yeah.
It's not an F body. I mean, I had those.
Well, and like one of the, but again, you go back to like, it's not like that. It's going to stand out in a parking lot in the crowd. And I see Brandon Stapp here asking if that is Capone in the back, and yes, it is.
For sure.
Yeah, he's been hanging out with James all week and is here to compete at Street Meet. So, kind of fun.
I wish he was out here because he's a good time.
Well, he had texted me earlier while we were on live and asking if I was in the room, and I said, yeah. So I'm sure he was probably down here while you guys were grabbing something to eat. All right, well, I'm going to wrap this one up. Tomorrow, I think hopefully I can get some service at the track. I didn't have any earlier today.
It's pretty terrible there.
It's
in a hole.
Yeah, I was just saying, it's definitely in a hole. I did see Ryan Hargett making comments on the live stream earlier, so maybe I can get up towards their area up top and maybe get some video.
Yeah. If
I don't
you're
know.
Up there, like Ryan's rig, and mine's in front of his, kind of right there. If you're up right there on the hill, there's service there.
All right, perfect. Well,
go down by the the starting line, and I don't know if live feed's gonna happen. It's
yeah, it's a little touchy right there. So
that's what makes it fun, though.
Yeah, I mean, that means you got to pay attention and watch drag racing instead of talking about it here on the live stream. So, all right, guys, thank you for watching. Appreciate it. I don't know if I'm going to go over to Stephen Mask and them hotel or not. I may go to bed early tonight. I didn't sleep very well last night. It's only 9:45.
It's only 8:45 at my house.
That's all it is.
And
at
your
my house too. Yeah. All right. I'm getting off of here. See you guys.